So I wanted to post here online my overview and experience with the Makerbot Method X 3D printer. I was surprised to find out there's not many videos reviewing or going over the Method X, so I wanted to share my experience with you. I went with the Method X instead of the regular Makerbot Method because the Makerbot Method just uses PLA and PVA for the supports. I've used PVA before and have had nothing but problems with it. So I was curious to try the X version of this that uses ABS and the SR30 support. So this just arrived. The shipping weight of this is about 82 pounds. The actual product itself, according to their website, is about 65 pounds. So let's crack it open. All right, here it is. We got the top lid open. Quick start guide. Take a look at that in a moment. Take the foam off here, and this is what we have. Appears to be the top clear cover of the printer here. Some more manuals and information. This appears to be the build plate. It's flexible magnetic build plate with some sort of material on it. I don't know if it's like a build tack-ish surface. We'll find out. Welcome, remove lid. Remove this piece of foam. Okay. Some tools. Looks like your pancake flipper, scraper to remove parts. Some snips maybe to remove supports. Stainless steel wire brush or something. All right, looks like the extruder 1XA. That's the model material, evidently. And I'm assuming that this right here, what does it say? Support 2XA for the SR30. SR30 is awesome support material if you know what you're doing with it. So I'm excited to try that. And then, oh, that's the underneath. So I'll put these to the side. So I forgot one piece here and I wanted to make this complete. So I pull out this. It appears to be cords that are compatible with different countries. I guess there's 3 of them in there, and then or no, there's two power cords. Definitely one's a USA plug, and then USB cable here. All right, so we're ready to lift off the foam piece. Very well packaged for being such a heavyweight printer. Nice to see. And there it is. So let me lift this up out of the container and set it up on a table here. There it is out of the box. The bottom of the box doesn't appear to be any other materials or manuals or anything, but the machine is out. I was able to lift this out of the box simply by carefully lifting the plastic bag, making sure it wasn't going to tear in the process. Might not be the best way of doing that, so you might want to get help to help somebody lift this out of the box, because it is about 65 pounds. So there it is. I have it obviously sitting on a work table here, and it appears to have a lot of tape holding the moving parts and stationary that have to be removed and so on. So off the bat, I like the design. Very creative, innovative, looks attractive, like something you want it to use. So I'm going to go ahead and start peeling the tape and removing the items that are inside the build chamber here. So I went ahead and removed the tape from where the extruders are on top. And I pulled this out, this protective foam packaging. There's a box here. Doesn't appear to be anything inside that box. It's just for protection. And here you can see the build chamber, right? And so we have to remove the all-important film from the clear front door. It seems to have a magnet or something that holds the door securely closed. Probably a magnet. Here's the build chamber around back here. Does this remove open? No, I guess the back wouldn't open, right? So I would have to peel the film off here. And then there appears to be something, some protective foam packaging under this build platform. So I got to figure that out. So I went ahead and very carefully lifted the build platform. I don't know if that's authorized, something that I should have done, but I was able to lift it by lifting here at this corner in the back, and it lifts up carefully, and you're able to remove the packaging material into there. Well, let's see, if you click, how do you open these? Okay. I was just looking to see if there's any more packaging material in there, but I guess the way you open these trays, right? So one will be the model, one will be the SR30 support, is I guess, got these clips here. Push in, it'll click, and then you can open, push, and open. So it says in tray 1 material, so that would be your ABS that I'm going to be using. You might be able to use, you can use PLA or carbon fiber materials in these machines if you swap out the extruders, I think. So, but I plan to use ABS exclusively with this printer. So I'll have that in tray 1. And then my SR30 will be in tray 2 here. So I've gone ahead and located the power plug, power cable for US. And so I plugged it in the back. So let's take a look in the back here. There's where your AC cord goes, of course, and it looks like we have Ethernet port and a USB port. So that's good. I plan to try both methods of connection, Ethernet and the USB. And I think now we're ready to turn it on. So in the quick start guide, I said go ahead and press the power button and it will guide you the rest of the way. So here's the power button. I was looking all over the machine on the sides, and it's this little button here. Another USB here, probably for either loading, 3D models, STLs, or G-code files on there. I don't know. So we'll find out what that will take in terms of the file format for printing. And then we'll push the button here, little light indicator, and then there goes the screen. After, probably about a minute, maybe slightly longer, I finally got to this screen. So we're ready to set up. So I will click or tap on the begin setup. Wi-Fi setup. Okay, I'm not going to do that now. So hopefully, can I click through this? Might have to. We have a weird setup for Wi-Fi where I'm working, so I don't know. I'll have to talk to our IT techs to see what they recommend for Wi-Fi, but I'll see if I can just. Okay, there we go. So I kind of X'd out of it so I can skip Wi-Fi setup. All right, name the printer. All right, well, let's name it. Continue. The clock. Okay, we can do the clock. All right, so today's March. Oh, okay. So you have to press and drag. 326. Come on. 2021. Next. Let's see. We're in Central Standard Time, so you got to set the time zone. Set time zone, Central. The time is about 9:20 a.m. So let's go 9. 9:20 a.m. 9:20 a.m. Click done. All right, so the extruders. So I removed took them out of the bag. Nice extruders, look substantial and well built. All right, so attach extruders. Remove top lid. Well, the lid is already off because there it is. There's the clear lid. So we can click next. And it says insert model extruder into slot 1. So to give you a clear picture of this, first you got to open this lever, the lock, I guess, and then this cover. And then, you know, you can see motor shaft in there with a gear on it that will mesh with the gears on the extruder here. So they want this to be put down there. So let's go ahead and try that. Then close this and that. Let's see. It says attaching extruders. Do I hit next? All right, lock the extruder in place and attach the swivel clip. All right, I guess next. Already have it secured and in there. And now this says the support. So same thing. This lifts up. This lifts down. We're able to take your support extruder and drop it in. And it actually will prompt you here. If you click next, I believe it'll tell you to lock the extruder in place and all that. So, and I also like this display with this animation, right? So that's kind of neat. They a lot of thought went into the, you know, first user experience here in terms of really illustrating what you have to do so you can do this successfully. So I put that down and that, and then I'm able to hit next. Ensure the material clips are attached. All right, so let's look at that. So the material clips, as it came packaged here, were kind of tucked in the back here. And you got to look carefully on them because there will be a 2 on this material guide. And that will go into the 2 spot here. This is the support, right? So I'm thinking they just, yeah, they just kind of snap in there. There appears to be a little bearing or some sort of surface that allows this to swivel readily without much friction. And so here is the other one. I'm just kind of making sure that they don't cross under each other and then push this into there. Okay, so it had prompted me to do that, so now I can click next. Place top lid on. Okay, so this is the lid with some cutouts here. Well, it doesn't go like that, right? It would go like this. Okay, so there's a little tab there that seems to go in a slot here. Maybe there's a micro switch or something in here, I don't know. Oh, there it is. Yes, fantastic. There's the micro switch. So the machine will know if the lid is off. And that, so we can click done. Level build platform. All right, let's take a look. So here's the build platform, flexible. Thin steel, spring steel sheet underneath, and then rubber as the base. And then on top of that rubber appears to be very similar to BuildTak. So we'll see how durable this is, how easily prints can be removed from this, and how well things stick to it. I'm going to be, again, using ABS and SR30. So we'll see how that works. There's some tricks we can do if I have trouble with parts sticking down. So we'll see if that'll be necessary. So they want me to level this build platform. I haven't put the build sheet or the build platform in yet. Let's see if it'll prompt me. Let's hit continue. All right, so evidently I can't start leveling until I put in the build platform. So let's open the door here, grab this. Make sure you have it facing the right way so we see the Makerbot text there. And it will go in like this. See, here are your silver magnets, right? That'll hold the build platform down. There's something else here. Don't know what that's for. A little cutout there. It doesn't appear to be anything on the bottom of this that would line up to, but see how well this sticks down. So you're gonna make sure you push it all the way to the back here so it indexes nicely there, and then it just flops down there. Definitely seems secure. Doesn't seem like it's gonna move around. I mean, it's about as good as I would expect and hope. So close the door, and we're ready to start leveling. All right, so right away it says open door and remove build plate. Open door and remove build plate. Okay. I'll put it on top here. Click next. All right, so I'll close the door. Good to know, I guess. I was mistaken that you don't put the build plate in when you initially start the leveling process. Good to know. I am going to assume that, yes, the extruders will level to the base and then do some sort of offset to compensate for the thickness of the build plate, right? So it knows where the top of the surface is. And that makes sense because all these doodads back here will probably assist in the leveling. You know, it has something to do with the leveling process, maybe some sort of electrical conductivity touch to the tip of the extruder nozzle or something. I don't know. Well, that was it. That didn't take long at all. I've seen Stratus's printers take far longer than that to level. So we'll see. Click done because it's prompted me. All right, calibrate extruders. Well, I don't have any filament loaded yet, but we'll see what it'll prompt me here to do. Begin calibration. So obviously one thing about this printer, you know, it's got a lot of sensors and things to it. It'll know that there's no filament not loaded. So like it won't be a surprise and do something that it shouldn't do. It'll know when the lid is off because there's a micro switch in there. I'm assuming there's a micro switch for the door. There's got to be. All right. It says remove build plate. This part of the process performed with a plate bar. Okay. So it's asking me just to confirm that, I guess. It's removed. Check extruder nozzles. If there's material on the tips of the extruders, use the steel brush. No, we don't have to clean because these are brand new. So I'm wondering at this point if there should be filament loaded, right? Because it's going to heat up the extruders and all this. But maybe it's doing that just to further level and calibrate the extruders. So I will go ahead and let this run its process and then come back and report what I found out. So we'll see. All right, so it cranked and made noise for about maybe 3 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, I don't know. And it finally prompted me to insert the build plate. All right, so we've done this before. Open the door, make sure we got it facing the right way. Whoops, those magnets are strong. I'm trying to hold the phone and do this. So I'm making sure it's pushed all the way to the back. It's got that notch to index it in the right spot. And let it plop down. And can I come over here so you can... No, not a good view. All right, so forget it. It's just, you got to make sure the build plate is pushed all the way back. I'll close the door. Click on that. And I'll probably figure it out an offset or something, I would imagine. So we'll see what happens here. All right, the calibration is successful. All right, done. Load material. All right, so let's look at the material here. So this is the SR30 support, water soluble, made by Stratasys. Stratasys, of course, owns Makerbot, so it's only natural they would use this in one of their Makerbot products. Awesome stuff. You do have to have it in an agitation, water agitation, and you add a chemical to it to help dissolve the SR30 support. So more about that later. But there's your support, and here's the ABS gray. So there you go. There's how much is on a spool. 0.65 kilograms, or almost 1.5 pounds. Whatever. It is chipped material, so the machine will know what's loaded in terms of, you know, ABS, PLA, support, build material, whatever. And you know, it's expensive, but the support SR30 has slightly less on it at 1 pound. So I'm gonna open up these bags. These appear to be, you know, like a Ziploc type closure here, in a foil type bag to keep the moisture out. I don't know. I've never had problems with ABS and moisture, really, that I can think of. Of course, the support material, you have to watch out for moisture and make sure that it doesn't sit around in humid environments. It could clog the nozzle, I guess. But so when you're done with this material, it should be resealed in these foil bags. So I'm going to open this up and start the process of loading it. So here's the material out of the package. The ABS got a black center hub here, so somehow that clicks in the machine and is able to rotate the chips somewhere probably in that center black hub. Here's the SR30 support, right? Same thing, just less material, which is fair because you'll use less support material anyway. The screen is prompting me to cut any material that is bent or kinked before entering in the tube guides. So doesn't look too bad here. I will trim this off to get to a fresh end of the material. Same thing with the support material here. So I'm just use scissors here to cut it. Continue. Open bay 1. All right, well, there's bay 1. You got to click open, and this is what we have. What else does it say here? Place model material spool in the bay. Push the end of the material into the slot until you feel it being pulled in. So, all right. So see the arrow? So you can't be confused to where it goes. So evidently the end of it goes into there. So let's see. I'll grab my material, being careful not to get it unwound here. I'm going to assume that it goes like this so you can see the label on top. Seems to want to rotate nicely in there. And then the end will go into there. So almost immediately when I put the end of it in there, I could feel, you know, there must be a switch in there, right? That senses the material. It was almost immediate. So I didn't really have to manually feed it very far before it finally catches here and is now pulling it. So a little prompt up here. Helper motors are pushing the material to the extruder. Could take up to 30 seconds. Yay. All right, so now we see it come out of the nozzle, the gray filament, and it says up here, confirm that it's been, material is extruded, so yes. All right, let's see. Clear excess material after extruder cools down. All right, so it's gonna probably go into a routine now where it's gonna cool that extruder. You can see the temperature dropping there. Okay. I can start to load the support material. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to close this material bay. Remove any bent material from the end here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so I use my scissors to trim the end of the filament so it's square and unbent. So I can confirm that. Open the latch of material bay 2. Same routine. Grab my filament here carefully so I don't unwind it. I was looking at this time. I guess you have to put the spool in label side down. So there's the label, there's the black center part. It will have to go like this for how it unwinds, right? I can't put it the other way, the filament wouldn't load in there right. And then, so it appears to be a rectangular slot, but in there is a hole which will accept the filament. So let's see. So the motor's turned on already. And I'm doing this till I feel it grab. There it goes. So it is kind of a long path because it has to go from the bottom tray there, through it, up, right through the guide tubes into the extruder and down. So it could take 30 seconds or more, and we can see some material actually coming out already. In any case, looks good. I'm going to confirm the material extrusion, and it's going to start to go into its routine where the temperature will drop, and then I can remove any material that's hanging from the nozzle. So interesting to see that the SR30 support material looks like its optimum temperature was 240 C. 240 C is what it will appear to heat up to for the support material. All right, so we got this loaded. I will close this bay. One thing about this printer that they kept advertising is the near perfect seal in terms of air seal when you close these bays to keep the moisture out. And you can kind of feel there must be an O-ring or some sort of foam in there to act as a seal, because you kind of have to compress it when you close these doors. So hopefully that'll keep moisture out. I do plan to remove the materials, both the support and the model material, when I'm not using this printer, and putting them back into their foil bags to keep the material fresh, and especially for the support material, free of any humidity that might cause a failure with the support. So if you look at the screen, it says, you know, it's going to cool down and you want to clear any material, but I can click done because I will worry about that ready. And now, finally, I'm at the prompt ready to print. It appears to be a test print to test the printer. So I will go ahead and do that, but I also will look into the software, loading that onto our PC, our desktop PCs here, to load in my own material. But let's go ahead. Why not? And it knows, of course, that I have ABS gray loaded, and it will give you a little counter there of your total material and material remaining. It'll know you have the SR30 in there and what's remaining, so that's nice. That's a given for sure if you're going to have chipped material. I don't know what this is going to print, but I'll hit the start test print button. Looks like it'll heat the chamber to 80 C, which is about the temperature that, my Stratasys printers I've used in the past have heated up to, been about 80 C. Now what's this? Can I swipe here? I can. Okay, so by swiping left here, I can see that I guess more information about what's loaded in terms of the material, filament. Swipe left again. Some information about the temperature of the material. Okay, so that's why you set your clock. It'll give you an exact time of day that it'll be done. That's kind of nice. And then that is maybe what it's going to print. I don't know. Let me go back. I think what's happening now, yeah. So the chamber also has to heat up to 80 C. So it'll take a while. So these numbers are not changing quickly. Mostly because it's waiting probably for that chamber temperature to get up to close to 80, and then the extruders will kick on and heat up to their final temperature. So that's kind of nice that you have multiple screens here to swipe through to let you know what's going on, what materials loaded, the temperature, and so on. So at this point, since I've kind of given a little bit of overview of this menu here, I will go ahead and let this print and then maybe come back in a little bit to show you the progress and then the final product. And it'll be interesting to see how well whatever it's printing, right? I have no idea. How well it sticks to the build platform and how it removes from the build platform. I forgot to mention in some of the manuals that I looked at was an extra self-adhesive build platform. So, and it looks like Built-Tack material. So they do give you extra one sheet of material to peel off the old and stick on the new. So that's good, yeah. Well, all right, so I walked away for, I don't know, about 15 minutes. Come back to check on its progress, and right away I have a material jam detected. So right off the bat, right, good old Makerbot, we're having issues with a material jam. Seems like the good old days. So I don't know. I will try to purge the extruder here. And it will heat up here. And we'll see if we can get any material out of it. It looks like it didn't lay down anything. No first layer, nothing. No material dangling out of there. So I don't know what the issue could be. So I'll let this heat up and we'll see what will happen. So it heated up after a couple more seconds there. I'm looking to see if any material is coming out of the extruder. Doesn't look like it, right? Which is strange because when initially it was loaded, when the model ABS was loaded, it came out, but now there's nothing. So we'll see what happens here. So I guess I'll keep waiting until it airs out or something that, oh, there it goes. Okay. So I can confirm. So I'm just going to stop it right away. So there it is. Clear excess material after extruder closes down. Well, I'm going to live life on the edge here and open it up. I'm not going to wait, and very carefully remove that. Click done. Let's pause. So again, there's a test print built into the machine. Evidently it paused when no material went through. Now it has to reheat everything. Let's see what the swipe left here to see what the chamber is at temperature. So I won't have to wait very long. Thank goodness, because I'm already getting a little aggravated here. So let's just keep the camera rolling here and see what this does. All right, well, come on, focus camera. It's having a hard time picking up, but it is laying down first layer. So, okay, Makerbot, you kind of redeemed yourself here. We got this fixed and working for now. I will see if there's a time that it'll tell me this will get over. 10:43. So right about 1010 now. So, okay, not too bad. It just kind of updated itself, didn't it, there? But not too bad for a test print. You know, you don't want it to go on forever, especially if there's going to be issues. So it looks like it's laying down a first layer of ABS. Not sure if this print will include any support material. So that'll be the real test of this printer, right? So how well the ABS is laid down with the SR30 support and so on, the interface between the model material and the support. So that's what I bought this machine for, is to really, you know, get those materials working together. So I will go ahead and let this crank. Again, let's see if the time has changed. 10:58. Temperatures look good. Chamber temperature a little low, but I'm sure it'll come back up or whatever. It'll cycle on and off. But if you feel the front of this, you know, maybe this is polycarbonate, maybe this is just like a plexiglass, acrylic material. But you can feel warmth through it, you know, definitely feel warmth through it. So let's crank and we'll be back to check on it. All right, so I went back in about another 15 minutes, and lo and behold here, another material jam, this time support 2, the extruder, support extruder jam. So this is the same air we got for the model material. So I wonder, I'm gonna purge this. I wonder if it's just not necessarily jammed, but somehow the material didn't quite get up to the nozzle when I initially loaded it. You know, one thing that I did not do, obviously, is I did not update the firmware on this printer. So once I make it through this test print, if and when I make it through this, I will download, install, connect the printer to the computer, and for sure update firmware. So I just received this late March of 2021, and I may not have the most up-to-date firmware. So I'm going to let this heat up, and we'll see if we can get any support material, SR30, through this. I have very rarely had jams with SR30 support material, so I'm still hopeful that this is not a jam and just somehow the filament didn't get up there. So it's now asking me to watch for filament coming through the nozzle, and I'm hopeful that I will begin to see it. It took a while for the model material to come through, so we'll see. So there it goes, right? I didn't hear any clicking, any skipping of the extruder, so on. So I'm hopeful that this is it now. Confirm. Done, because we've purged. Let's unpause this guy. It's going to probably have to heat up for some of this. Let's go over to our temperatures. Our chamber temperature is at temperature, so that's good. So it won't take long. There it goes. So now it's laying down a layer of support on top of the ABS. So first layer was the gray ABS, and now it's adding a layer of support and so on. So I'll let it crank, and we'll come back in a little while and see what happens here, folks. All right, update time. So I come back after a little while. I don't know how long exactly, maybe 45 minutes. And we're at 85% complete here, still printing, no jams or anything like that. Again, I'm not even sure what it's printing. It doesn't look like it'll be any kind of a logo or usable part of any kind. It does just look like it's testing, printing the ABS and the SR30. So I can't get a good angle on here so you can see, but what it did is the object there on the left laid down the raft and SR30, then started to build a cube. Looks just under maybe an inch cubed. and it's hollow, and then the inside of that gray cube is SR30. Over here, it laid down the raft as ABS. It started to make an object, and it's hollow, and the inside of it SR30. But what it appears to do, and this is interesting, is that as it swaps between SR30 support and ABS build material, it seems to kind of park the nozzle on top of the object for a brief moment, cool down, and then the other nozzle will continue printing. So, and I think that's the sequence, but at the same time, I do know that the nozzles are toggling up and down. So one nozzle will lower when it prints, and then, see, so you just saw the switch there. So now the model nozzle is down and the other nozzle is up. But see how it's parked there? That nozzle is actually touching the object, albeit it's touching in the middle where the support is, I guess. But it's doing that and then coming to temperature. Yeah, and that's laying down model right there, model material. And the same thing over here. So that's interesting. And again, maybe a firmware update will streamline this process or the sequence so it gets a little better. So I'll let this thing crank and we see where we are. And I guess about 13 minutes there. We'll be back. All right, so that test print is done finally. This is the result. I thought it would print out something cool like a keychain or some usable print, but that's fine. The testing, the printing of the ABS and the support SR30 gives me this warning here acknowledging that the inside is hot and has to wait, what, 14 minutes-ish to cool. Let's go acknowledge. There's the finish screen. I'm going to go ahead and open this up if it'll allow me to. Yep. So there's no, I don't think there's a door lock on this like my Stratasys printers, right? You can open it readily at any time. It just may give you an error or pause or cancel the print. So I'm going to live dangerously. Put my hand in here. It's like a warm plate. I don't know if it's going to burn you, but we can lift this off. So I want to get some initial looks at. Looks good to me. I think on camera it comes up as a little bit of a shadow. But I don't see any curling or lifting of either one of these. So the gray's ABS looks like it's down flat. This looks like it's lifting, but there might be a layer of ABS underneath this. So let me go ahead and peel these off. Let's see. Trying to do this one-handed. Okay, so it came off. So there was a layer of ABS and then this, and that popped off. So that's why it looked like it was lifting, but it wasn't. This is down good. Using my fingernail, I can get this off. I'll work on that in a minute. And then this one looks good too. So it just kind of did a print of support and ABS. So yeah, I'm happy with the print surface so far. We'll see. You know, large prints, how will it turn out? I don't know. But exit out of this menu, I guess. Come on. Or maybe do I click here? Or no, all right, folks, I'm getting this. I'll click done. Okay, the support material should be looks good to me. Done. How about that? And we're back to home. So next I want to figure out how to update firmware, whether that's through like a USB. I could put maybe a thumb drive in there to update firmware, or do I have to use it through the USB cable to a computer with software, or can I connect this to Ethernet and update it through its Ethernet Probably not going to play around with Wi-Fi for a while because we got a weird setup here. But Ethernet should work. Hopefully, maybe there's a way to get that connected for firmware. So I'm going to call this video done for now. I'm going to go ahead and unload the materials here because I won't be using this for a couple days now until I'm ready to make another video. I will load up new materials, but it's always a good idea to unload your filament when not in use so it doesn't crack or anything. So all right, stay tuned for part 2. We got to really put this printer through its paces with a 3D printed object of my own choice. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. But so far, I'm pleased with it. I am not 100% pleased. I did have some errors with the purging of the material. It told me that it could possibly be clogged, but it wasn't. Just needed to be purged. So I'll have to look for that for the next print. So